Hey guys, Darren here. Welcome to Mayhem Country Living. Doing a little bit of painting today, down in the basement, down in the bunker, getting some stuff situated. And I was checking my messages, and Detroit Redneck, hey buddy, thanks for the comment, and thanks for sending me the message, had mentioned to me about someone he's taken under his wing, Andrew. Andrew, this video's for you. There can be a lot of terrible things that happen over the course of a life. Things that can get you, and some of it's your fault, some of it's not your fault, some of it just happens. Sometimes life just happens. Hang on, let me put this paintbrush down. So I figured I would just give you a brief synopsis of what led me to here at my age. I'm 55. Been divorced 3 times. I'm married 4 times. I don't know why. I'll tell you my story and watch it through its entirety. And if you would, leave some comments for Andrew, just to let him know he's not going through this by himself, because a lot of times you feel like it. I was married the first time to my high school sweetheart. Took her to the prom. That's how long ago it was. Got married right out of high school, and it was pretty good for a while. Our first son was profoundly handicapped, and it was really hard for her to deal with. It was hard for me to deal with it. And from that, she began to spiral into drug addiction. A lot of drugs, heavy drugs, cocaine, crack, and we eventually divorced from that. And even though it took me forever to get custody of my kids, she later committed suicide by car, hit a tree with no seatbelt. And this was 10, 15 years down the road. But she ended up taking her life because of all of the things, the culmination of all of that. Just the way it was. Second wife, I married, years later. And it turns out after I'd gotten custody of my kids, she was being physically abusive to my kids. I was a very successful real estate agent, very well known. This was in the 90s, years ago, and I was very well known and very successful in commercial and residential real estate. And her father and I were in business together, and we ended up accumulating about 20 rental houses. And I found out that she was physically abusive to my handicapped son. And so that was the day it was all over with, and we parted ways from there. And my third wife, married, I don't know, 7 or 8 years after that, and it lasted for a while. She had some issues that she'd had to deal with, and at that point we thought it was best just to divorce. Again, I was still doing real estate at the time, and had everything that you could think of, the mini farm, the lake house, the BMW convertible, 2-seater, that, and all the stuff that went with that lifestyle. And it went down the drains, and I married Shauna, and I have been together, I think, almost 20 years now, 18 or 20, something like that. Lived together, a couple, and then, so it kind of, the definition kind of blurs, but terrible things happen. It might be your fault, it might not be your fault. And it's hard to say it'll get better, but it'll get better. It's going to take time. I've always said, if you're in a hole up to your waist, it's going to take you a little while to dig out of that hole. You might not have put yourself in that hole, but you're in that hole regardless. And it's kind of like also the analogy down here in the South. We have a saying, well, you know, somebody's complaining about everything. Well, who shot John? Well, that means like nobody knows who shot John. Who cares? Just it's gonna have to be dealt with, though. Thoughts and prayers go out to you. Consider counseling. There's nothing wrong with it. I've done it before myself, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who's had trouble and financial, emotional, whatever it is. I would highly recommend it for anybody. And, you know, yes, there were many times I thought of taking the easy way out. And that is not the best thing, because, you know, suicide is a selfish thing. Just throwing that out there for anybody. And it will get better. It will get easier. It'll take time. It usually takes about as long to get out of a bad situation as it does to get into it. Or it may take a little longer. Keep your head up. God bless you. Good luck, Andrew. Take care of your people. Take care of yourself.